Exclusive contract from Feilu Novel Network Novel. National job transfer. Is Dragon Master the weakest profession? The game is intertwined with reality, with ferocious beasts rampant and countless secret realms and dungeons. In order to resist the invasion of fierce beasts and become strong, everyone will undergo job transfers and crazy upgrades. On the day of his job transfer, Lu Fan became a hidden profession. Dragon Master. But because dragons are too strong, it is impossible for anyone to tame them, so dragon tamers are called the most useless professions. Fortunately, he awakened the super treasure map system, and the first divine level treasure map directly dug out the dragon egg of Black Dragon King's Deathwing. Subsequently, Blue Dragon King, Storm Wrath, Jade Dragon King, Tree of Life. When Lu Fan swept everything with his giant dragon, the whole world trembled. Who specifically said that Dragon Master is the weakest profession? Introduction is powerless. Please refer to the main text for a refreshing horizontal promotion. Feel free to consume. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. National Employment Transfer. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Although in this world, transitioning to a combat profession can lead to better prospects, life professions and reinforcement professions also have great potential. Especially in reinforced professions, some wealthy classmates only need to practice hard and improve their skill proficiency, and wherever they go in the future, they will be in high demand, no worse than combat professions, and even surpass them without any shortcomings. On the podium, Li Kun, a class teacher in his 30s, was talking incessantly, holding the final mobilization meeting before his job transfer. Although what he said was something that all the classmates in the class knew, everyone still listened attentively and refused to leave a single word behind. Because today is the day for all high school seniors to switch jobs. Sitting in the corner of the class, Lu Fan was also excited and looking forward to the transfer ceremony for a while. He is a traveler who has traveled from the Blue Star to here, and it has been 3 years since then. In these 3 years, he has gained a clear understanding of the world. This is a world where games and reality blend together, with an area thousands of times that of Blue Star. In this world, there are countless secret realms and dungeons, with monsters rampant. And everyone can also gain experience points, materials, and even equipment by hunting monsters to strengthen themselves. At the same time, various professions have evolved in this world, and each person can transfer at level 10 to gain stronger abilities. Each country sets up schools in various places to cultivate how every young person can survive in this world. Then, the teachers of the schools take students to the beginner's secret realm and the wilderness to fight, gain experience, and strive to make everyone reach level 10 before the transition ceremony at the age of 18. There are many professions in this world, which can be roughly divided into 3 categories. One is a combat profession, as the name suggests, which refers to professions with combat abilities, such as warriors, mages, archers, etc. The second category is intensive professions. There are relatively few people who change jobs in this type of profession, but their abilities are very strong. They can create some special items that increase the strength of combat professions. In reinforced professions, the most common ones are enchanters, magic prop makers, pharmacists, and so on. Although reinforced professions are also popular, creating amplification props requires a massive amount of materials, and there is usually no big family support, so it is impossible to cultivate any decent reinforced professions. As for the last category, it is the bottom layer of the pyramid, which is also the profession of the most people. Life-related professions. This type of profession is quite common, such as culinary, medicinal, mining, and so on. Transferring to this type of profession may only lead to becoming an ordinary person in this lifetime. Being able to barely make a living and survive is quite good. For example, Lu Fan's aunt in this world. Han Ku, she is a chef. Lu Fan is an orphan who has been living with this aunt who is 8 years older than him since he was young, and his life is very difficult. Lu Fan's aunt initially transferred to the most ordinary culinary profession. Later, she saved a lot of money to buy a picture of how to make steamed buns, which can restore a small amount of health. That's when she opened a steamed bun shop and was able to make a living. It was precisely with this steamed bun shop that Han Ku brought Lu Fan to Da. Lu Fan also knew how difficult it would be to survive in this world if he couldn't switch jobs and become a powerful combat profession. In these 3 years, he has seen too many hardships of his aunt providing him with education. So, Lu Fan's wish is to switch to a combat profession, and in the future, have the ability to brush monsters and sell materials in the wilderness, or use dungeons to explode equipment, so that my aunt can live a good life. I just received a message that the transfer platform has been built. Everyone, please maintain order and come with me to the playground to gather. Li Kun's words pulled Lu Fan back from his contemplation. In the class, everyone's mood is even higher. Finally, they are going to switch jobs. The future depends on today. When Lu Fan was silent and preparing to follow everyone to the playground to gather, a mechanical sound suddenly came to his mind. Ding! A qualified host has been detected, and the Super Treasure Map system is currently binding. Ding! Super Treasure Map system successfully bound. Surprisingly, the system has arrived. Sure enough, although it took 3 years for the standard configuration of the traveler to arrive, Lu Fan deeply understands the principle that good food is not afraid of being late. Lu Fan suppressed his ecstatic mood and followed everyone to the playground to prepare for a job transfer, while checking what functions his system had. Soon, Lu Fan figured it out and his system was very simple. He would receive a treasure map every day, and he only needed to reach the location marked on the map to receive rewards. The treasure map is divided into 5 levels: beginner, intermediate, advanced, top-notch, and divine. The level of treasure map obtained each day may not be determined, and the location of treasure map excavation may not be determined. If there is a treasure map with coordinates that are particularly far away and inconvenient to excavate, Lu Fan can also merge this treasure map with other treasure maps of the same level. Every 3 treasure maps can be merged into a higher level treasure map. Chapter 1. National Employment Transfer. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 2. Super Treasure Map System. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. For example, if Lu Fan is currently in Jianghai City and has obtained the primary treasure map of the Arctic ice sheet for 3 consecutive days, it is naturally impossible for him to travel thousands of miles to dig treasure maps in the Arctic ice sheet. So, he can combine these 3 basic treasure maps into one intermediate treasure map. If the coordinates are not far from him, he can go ahead and dig. Overall, the system is simple, but it also tests one's character. If all the coordinates of the treasure maps were brushed in some high-level areas, then Lu Fan would really cry to death. After understanding the purpose of his system, Lu Fan had already followed everyone to the playground. At this point, a huge blue-purple crystal pillar has been erected on the playground, which is the transition stone. Next to the transfer stone, there is a middle-aged man wearing a white cloak and holding a staff emitting a milky white halo. Using the ordinary skills of the Eye of Appraisal, Lu Fan can see that this middle-aged man is extraordinary and has already become a level 29 pastor. He is only 1 step away from level 30 when he steps into 2 turns. At level 29, he switched to a combat profession and also mastered the skill of switching to a new profession to awaken spirits. He has the ability to help players who have not yet switched careers complete the transition. This pastor can be said to have lived a life that is envied by Lu Fan. It is said that the cost of changing jobs for a student in a school is 5 million dragon coins. Even if Lu Fan's aunt sells steamed buns for a lifetime, she cannot earn back so much money. This is the difference between combat professions and life professions. Lu Fan sighed and focused all his energy on the upcoming job transfer ceremony. At this moment, the playground was noisy, gathering around 3,000 children of the same age as Lu Fan. They are all students from the 3rd high school in Jianghai City, all of whom have reached the 10th level and meet the conditions for job transfer. At this moment, everyone's excitement was even greater than that of Lu Fan. I'm finally going to switch jobs. I've been waiting for a long time. I hope I can switch to a powerful hidden profession, which will attract crazy competition from major universities. This way, our family will develop. Hey buddy, don't just drink alcohol and eat some food. You're hiding your profession. I'm already satisfied if I can switch to a combat profession. That is to say, in a class of 60 people, generally speaking, having 20 combat professions is already quite good. Most people have switched to life-related professions, so don't dream of switching to hidden professions. It's better to be more realistic. I just hope to be a combat profession, even if it's necessary to kill knights and warriors on the front line. My parents are both living professions, and they have been living too hard to support me in school. I must strive to become a combat profession, and let them live a good life. The last person's words spoke the hearts of many people. Whether we can turn around in the future depends on the transfer ceremony for a while. Class teacher Li Kun looked at the chaos in his class and raised his hands high, gesturing for everyone to be quiet. Don't make any noise, everyone. Keep the scene quiet. The job transfer ceremony is conducted on a class-by-class basis. We are in class 25 and it will take a long time to queue up. However, please be patient as everyone has the opportunity to change jobs. The homeroom teachers of each class were also maintaining order, and the playground quickly quieted down. At this moment, the middle-aged pastor next to the transition stone lifted his head, glanced at all the students, and slowly spoke loudly, "Now, let's start the transition ceremony. According to your principal's arrangement, let the children of class 1 come on stage in order of their student numbers first." Finally, it's about to start. All the children suddenly became excited again, and at the same time, a boy from class 1 walked out of the crowd and came to the transition stone, fortunately becoming the first person to accept the transition ceremony. It's Zhang Tao, the top student in class 1. I heard he did well in school, but I'm not sure if he can switch jobs and become a combat profession. It should be possible. It is said that although he is also at level 10, his attributes are much higher than other classmates. Although there is a certain degree of randomness in job transfers, the stronger the attributes, the easier it is to transfer to become a combat profession. This is something that many scholars have researched and it is quite credible. Zhang Tao is going to change jobs. Let's take a look and see what profession he can become. As the middle-aged pastor chanted a spell, a light shone on the transition stone, enveloping Zhang Tao. In no time, a strange gleam suddenly appeared in the light, and a fireball-like pattern emerged from it. Many people were surprised and exclaimed, "Zhang Tao is truly a top student. He has indeed transferred to become a mage in the combat profession. Good guy, Zhang Tao has a bright future ahead." Mage is the highest output among all professions. If he wants to go to the wilderness to collect materials or take dungeons, he should not worry about having no one to team up. Hey, I envy Zhang Tao so much. Amidst the envious gazes of those around him, the transfer stone converged its radiance, and the student named Zhang Tao returned to his class with a smile on his face, ecstatic. Chapter 2. Super Treasure Map System. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 3. Abnormalities of Job Transfer and Hidden Occupations. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Next, the students will go to the transfer stone one by one to carry out the transfer. However, the other students are not as lucky as Zhang Tao. Only a few students are able to transfer to combat professions, and most of them have only awakened to life-related professions, destined to become commoners in the future. By calculation, only about 20 students in a class can become combat professions, with over 30 transitioning to life-related professions, and less than 10 remaining in reinforced professions. Although there are few reinforced professions, this industry requires a large supply of materials to grow, and it is not a desirable job. Even some students from families with financial difficulties may cry when they awaken to a career in reinforcement, as they may not have the money to develop their professional skills. It is better to awaken to a career in life, as they can at least have a unique skill. In short, this job transfer ceremony has brought joy and sorrow to some. After a long time, it was finally Lu Fan's turn to switch jobs in his class. The 10 students who went up first, without exception, all switched to life and intensive professions, which made Li Kun, the homeroom teacher, feel a bit embarrassed. Although there is a certain degree of randomness in job transfers, if a class cannot even select 20 combat profession students, it can only indirectly indicate that he is very useless as a class teacher. It has to be said that in Lu Fan's class, there was not a single combat profession among the top 10 students, which was a bad start. The 11th person to change jobs is Lu Fan. Lu Fan is a top student in the class, and Li Kun also has high expectations for him. Li Kun patted Lu Fan's shoulder and said, "Lu Fan, you must work hard. You must switch to a combat profession. Give our class a fight." "Don't worry, teacher, I will." Lu Fan smiled at Li Kun and walked to the side of the transfer stone. Then, Lu Fan closed his eyes and prepared to accept the transfer. The middle-aged pastor recited a spell, and soon the light on the transition stone drowned out Lu Fan. The next second, a loud dragon roar suddenly echoed through the entire school playground, making the previously chaotic school suddenly quiet. Ong! The dragon roared like thunder, shaking the entire ground. Everyone looked at Lu Fan, who was enveloped by the light, and was shocked. This kind of strange noise has never been heard before when anyone changes jobs. Does anyone want to become a hidden profession? Just as everyone was doubting, a sudden light shone in the light, soaring into the clouds and shattering the entire sky. The roaring wind was deafening, and everyone looked at the light, only to find that it was constantly expanding and expanding as it took off. In the end, the light transformed into a 100-meter-sized dragon, soaring and hovering in the high sky. "I'll go, it's actually a dragon. This student has changed jobs, how could there be a dragon?" "Fool, this is a vision. Only when a hidden profession appears, will a vision appear during the transfer ceremony. This student is also lucky to have switched to a hidden profession. Dragons are all divine beings, only some of the top human powerhouses have seen them in some inaccessible forbidden areas. Every dragon is not something that the human race can afford to provoke. Surprisingly, this student's hidden profession is related to dragons, isn't it incredible? I heard that 10 years ago, there was a person who had a similar vision when he changed jobs. In the end, this person changed jobs and became a dragon blood warrior, with dragon blood in his body and unparalleled strength. Now he has become a top expert in our dragon country. Is it possible that someone has changed jobs and become a dragon blood warrior today? Who knows? But since it's a hidden profession, the person's future prospects will definitely be something I can only look up to. All students and teachers are shocked and envious. At this moment, after the giant dragon circled in the sky, there was another dragon roar before diving down and crashing towards the location where it landed. With a loud bang, countless air currents turned into strong winds and swept away, causing many people to involuntarily retreat backwards. At this point, the light of the transfer dissipated, and Lu Fan's transfer ceremony was completely over. After the light dissipated, Lu Fan's figure reappeared in front of everyone. Subsequently, everyone only heard a loud bang. In the distance, a figure on the office building of the school was ejected like a shell, and with a loud bang, it landed next to Lu Fan. This is an old man with gray hair but a burly figure. Everyone in 3rd Middle School knows him, and he is the principal of 3rd Middle School, by Hengjian. He is a level 38 warrior who has already transformed into a god of war, and his strength can definitely be considered top-notch in Jianghai City. Kid, what's your profession? Are you a dragon blood warrior or a dragon language mage? Bai Hengjian grabbed Lu Fan's arm as soon as he came up, feeling extremely excited. Chapter 3. Abnormalities of Job Transfer and Hidden Occupations. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 4. The Most Abandoned Occupation. Dragon Master. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. It can be seen that although Bai Hengjian did not attend today's job transfer ceremony, he should have been keeping an eye on the situation here. When Lu Fan changed jobs and became a hidden profession, he was the first one who couldn't hold back and came forward to inquire about Lu Fan's profession. Hidden professions, especially combat professions, once one appears, their entire third middle school will follow suit. The Dragon Blood Warrior and Dragon Language Mage mentioned by Bai Hengjian earlier are all hidden professions related to dragons and have strong abilities. If Lu Fan really switches jobs and becomes one of them, his future will be limitless. They also have the opportunity to be promoted to a key high school. Looking at Bai Hengjian's enthusiastic gaze, Lu Fan's face did not show much joy. He first nodded and bowed to Bai Hengjian, then truthfully said, "Principal, my profession is a dragon tamer." What? Is it a dragon tamer? Bai Hengjian was momentarily stunned, and then his face was filled with disappointment, unable to suppress it. When Lu Fan claimed to be a dragon tamer, many teachers and students who heard this statement also exploded. In such a big battle, I ended up being transferred to become a dragon master. Oh, what a pity. Yeah, it's better to switch to becoming a summoner than to become a dragon-slaying master. This student may be destined to be mediocre in the future. Some people feel regretful for Lu Fan, while others naturally gloat and speak with a strange tone. Hehe, what profession should I be? Can there be such a sensational phenomenon? It turns out to be a dragon tamer. If I were to transfer to such a powerful profession, I would definitely be overjoyed. Yes, Dragon Master. He can control giant dragons, which sounds amazing. If I remember correctly, Dragon Master is one of the 3 most recognized hidden professions in our Dragon Kingdom, right? Isn't that right? Even Dragon Blood Warriors and Dragon Language Mages are not as strong as Dragon Master. Being able to transfer to Dragon Master is really enviable, hahaha. What these people are saying is true. Although Dragon Master is a hidden profession, many people still have a certain understanding of this profession. Like Dragon Blood Warriors and Dragon Language Mages, they only have a certain level of bloodline communication with the Dragon Clan because they can use some of the Dragon Clan's power. And the Dragon Tamer can control dragon battles. The gap between these can be imagined. However, as the name suggests, a powerful Dragon Tamer has a prerequisite. You must have a dragon. What is a dragon? In this world, it exists like a deity. Even the strongest human race today is still like ants in front of the dragon race. Only young dragons that have just hatched will have the opportunity to be captured and domesticated. But not to mention the places where the Dragon Clan inhabits, they can all be called forbidden areas, even top human experts cannot reach them. Young dragons usually follow their mother dragons, so it is impossible for the human race to catch them. So, if you want to tame a giant dragon, it's just a foolish dream. The Dragon Master has appeared in the 800-year history of the Dragon Kingdom. However, there are really no dragon tamers who have experienced it. All the skills of a dragon tamer are related to dragons. Without dragons, one would be a useless person. Therefore, Dragon Master has been rated as one of the 3 strongest hidden professions. But at the same time, it is also one of the most useless hidden professions. Therefore, it was only after learning that Lu Fan had awakened such a hidden profession that Bai Hengjian was so disappointed. A dragon tamer without a dragon is not as powerful as a summoner who can summon fire and water elements as soon as he comes up. Bai Hengjian couldn't help but sigh and finally spoke up to comfort Lu Fan, saying, "It's okay, at least it's also a hidden profession with endless potential. Perhaps in the future, you will have the opportunity to encounter any sub-dragon species that you can conquer and become a strong one." Speaking later, Bai Hengjian actually felt a bit guilty. Because he also knew that his words were completely deceiving fools. Even if it is a sub-dragon species, it is still a powerful presence that cannot be dealt with by only a few 4-turn masters. This sub-dragon ferocious beast is covered in treasure all over its body, and its corpse can be sold for a sky-high price. If someone could hunt and kill, who would let Lu Fan tame them? Moreover, before the existence of dragons, Lu Fan was basically a useless person. If there was no one to lead him, leveling would be a problem. If the level is low, it is naturally impossible to tame a sub-dragon species 10,000 times stronger than him. So in the future, Lu Fan will most likely only become an ordinary person, not even a person who has switched careers in life. Lu Fan naturally understood this truth. Although he was also disappointed in his heart, as a person of 2 generations, his mood was still much stronger than that of ordinary people. He just had a slightly disappointed expression on his face and nodded, saying, I got it, principal." Bai Hengjian patted his shoulder and said, "All right, you can go back first. The big exam will be in a few days, and you can actually give it a try. I've heard of you. Every time you take an exam, you always rank at the top and are one of the top students in our 3rd middle school. Although your profession may not be good, if you work hard during the big exam, you may be admitted to an ordinary university, and then you may have the opportunity to become a monster hunter, hunting some low-level ferocious beasts to support yourself." Chapter 4. The Most Abandoned Occupation. Dragon Master. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 5. Auntie. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lu Fan nodded, not taking Bai Hengjian's words to heart too much. He returned directly to his own class, and many people around him cast sympathetic and regretful glances at him. Lu Fan silently opened his character attribute panel and looked at his attributes after his job transfer. Name: Lu Fan. Level 10. Occupation: Dragon Master, 1st turn, Power 21. Agility 26. Spirit 24. Endurance 23. Pets. None equipment. None skill. Dragon Control, Active Skill, LV1. Contain the dragon race and turn it into one's own pet. Note: only valid for Dragon Clan. Next, there are 4 skills that have not been displayed, and Lu Fan is unable to use them at all. I think these 4 skills should be related to dragons. If Lu Fan didn't have dragons, the skills would naturally not be activated. That is to say, compared to before his job transfer, Lu Fan's combat effectiveness has not improved at all. Thinking of this, Lu Fan was once again depressed. Could he only make a living by selling steamed buns with his aunt in this lifetime? He was able to live a difficult life, but unfortunately, his aunt worked hard to provide him with education, and as a result, he couldn't even live a good life in the future. Soon, the job transfer ceremony came to an end, and all the students had different moods and went home. The next week will be a long holiday before the exam. Everyone can use this week to upgrade and familiarize themselves with their professional skills, in order to achieve a good score during the big exam. Lu Fan also returned home. His home is in the old city area of Jianghai City. On the 1st floor, there is a steamed bun shop, and on the 2nd floor, there is a simple 2-bedroom living room where Lu Fan and Han Ko live. At this moment, the door of the steamed bun shop was ajar, indicating that it had not opened. Entering the steamed bun shop, I went straight up to the 2nd floor. As soon as you go upstairs, you can smell the aroma of rice. Auntie, I'm back. Lu Fanxiang perked up and casually threw his backpack onto the sofa. At this moment, there was noise coming from the kitchen, and a beautiful woman in her 20s and 60s walked out with her hair tied in a bun, holding a plate of delicious food in her hand. This beautiful woman has incredibly fair skin, like a shell-peeled egg, and her face is also incredibly delicate, comparable to the stars that Lu Fan has seen in a lifetime. And her figure is even more graceful, unable to pick out any flaws at all. Xiaofan is back. Wash your hands quickly and get ready to eat. The beautiful woman's gentle and infectious smile dissipated a lot of gloom in Lu Fan's heart when she saw it. This beautiful woman is Han Ku, the aunt of Lu Fan. Although Han Ku is 8 years older than Lu Fan, she is only 26 years old now, which is the best age. She has just shed her youthful vigor and is not too mature. She is in Jianghai City, but she is a famous Baozi Shisher. Even if she works hard to raise Lu Fan, her skin and figure have not aged or deformed at all. Even the young ladies in the big family are not as agile as her. Lu Fan's greatest joy in crossing over was having such a beautiful and gentle aunt on display. Well, I'll be right there. Lu Fan smiled and washed his hands before moving to the dining table. At this point, several dishes have already been placed on the dining table, especially sumptuous. Han Ku's craftsmanship is very good, and she cooks rice with a perfect combination of color, aroma, and taste. Just because the food is not made according to the recipe book, there is no additional effect on restoring health, it is simply delicious. Lu Fan's fingers twitched as he picked up his chopsticks and said, "Auntie, why did you make so much delicious food today?" Hee, today is an important day. Han Ku unbuttoned her apron, set it aside, and sat across from Lu Fan with a smile on her face. Today is the day when you change jobs, Xiaofan. How about it? Did you successfully transfer to another job today? What profession is it? When mentioning this matter, Lu Fan couldn't help but feel a bit disappointed. Han Ku noticed that Lu Fan was feeling a bit down, and immediately realized that today's job transfer ceremony may not have had a good outcome. She quickly straightened up and comforted, "What's wrong? Didn't she change jobs and become a good profession?" "It's okay, if you switch jobs and become a combat profession, I'll have to worry about your safety when you go out and play monsters and dungeons in the future. In fact, it's pretty good to be able to switch jobs and become a life-oriented profession, isn't it?" Lu Fan smiled bitterly and said truthfully, "My profession is a combat profession, and it's also a hidden profession." Ah! Han Ku was taken aback for a moment, then overjoyed and almost stood up from his seat. "Really? Are you not only a combat profession, but also a hidden profession? I knew you could do it, Xiaofan. You must have a much better future than my aunt in the future." "No, my aunt has no right to compare with you." Although reluctant to pour a bucket of cold water on Han Ku, Lu Fan cannot report good news or bad news. "Auntie, I transferred to become a dragon master. Although it is a hidden combat profession, without dragons, my profession would not be as useful as an ordinary life profession." After speaking, Lu Fan sighed. Han Ku's body also stiffened, but her expression was not too disappointed. Instead, she comforted Lu Fan and said, "Dragon Master. It's okay, Xiaofan. At least, it still indicates that you are very powerful, otherwise it is impossible to awaken the hidden combat profession, isn't it? It can only be said that your luck is too bad. The first day's data is very important. If you like it, please have some fresh flowers and review tickets. Even if you have 1 flower or 1 ticket, I will be thrilled and updated. Thank you on your knees." Chapter 5. Auntie. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors.